Uh,
Perfect.
all right, so we're gonna.
Oh,
Oh,
are we
sorry. You
doing?
wanna go first? You wanna go first? Okay, go.
Sure, sure, sure. Sorry. All right. So we also wanted to talk a little bit about some of the changes that we saw over the last year, or the last couple years with COVID-19 and how it's kind of impacted our holidays. One thing that we saw a lot of is the government was asking people to be safe and practice social distancing and things like that during the celebrations. Um, and they were asking also that people would maybe cancel events or to cancel, at least cancel the larger events, and then to socially distance and wear masks. So they did a survey to look at the 100 biggest cities in the United States, um, to see what changes they made. And so only 17 out of the top 100 cities were going to have a public celebration. Oops, sorry. And then um, many of them were going to allow people to do their own fireworks, but there were many places or cities that were not allowing people to do fireworks. Um, we also saw limitations on how many people could be at a particular gathering. And so, unfortunately, we had some cities that were still allowing really large gatherings. So, you can see that there were two cities that still allowed gatherings of 10,000 people. Um, but you can see that a lot of cities, there were 26 that limited gatherings to 50 people. And so that allows more social distancing and uh, space to spread out in outdoor events as well. When families did get together, there were restrictions on how many people could be there, and also there was a limitation on how many different households could participate. So there was a max of 3 households that could gather together to limit the spread of COVID. We saw that there were safety enforcements. They were encouraging us to report any violations of COVID-19, just so that we could continue to keep peaceful gatherings really small, and to help stop the spread as well. We saw lots of events canceled, but there were also some really cool changes that were made to events. So we had actually in Los Angeles, there were a few different cities that changed their fireworks from a place where everyone gathered together to a place where people could drive to a parking lot and everyone would stay in their cars, and they could watch the fireworks show from there. So we had several places where they encouraged people to watch from their car, um, and it was actually really nice. They had one in. We live in a very small city right outside of Los Angeles, and they had a fireworks show that was so close that we didn't have to leave the house. So we just went outside and we could see some really cool fireworks up in the sky. Um, the Even though COVID was very challenging and has been very challenging, we did see that there were some benefits from the reductions in activities and events, and the fireworks that happened. So, like I mentioned earlier, fireworks are really loud here, and that can be a big problem for our pets, but also our veterans. So, our veterans are people who have fought in a war. And of course, there's those loud pops and cracks that sound a lot like gunfire. And some of the big bangs sound like explosions or bombs. And so, for people who have been through the hardships of battle, it can be absolutely PTSD. It can be a really difficult thing because it reminds them exactly of that experience that they had. And so, it's really scary. So, While we really enjoyed it because we have a big black Labrador, a big dog. Um, but we also really appreciated it for our community because a lot of our veterans had a much better experience for 4th of July because there was a lot of reduced noise from fireworks and things like that. So COVID has not been the best thing ever, but I think that our communities have started to find ways to develop around it, and it has actually made some improvements and benefits as well that we weren't quite expecting. Do you have any questions about COVID and 4th of July or COVID and holidays?
Did your communities handle the precautions in a similar way around the holidays?
They were so busy being artists and musicians that they never left the house. I get it. I would do the same. That art takes time.
I mean, I don't really watch our fireworks anyway. We have New Year fireworks, but like at 101, but we barely watch. I don't watch the fireworks, so I didn't actually look up the restrictions, so I'm not actually that sure.
Yeah, totally. Very nice.
So, COVID-19 pandemic experience in Taiwan. Okay, our pandemic wasn't actually that bad during 2020, and everything was quite mild. It was not that bad. But it got worse during like the middle of 2021. We actually had lockdown and we stayed at home for a few months. Nowhere near as bad as you guys, I'm pretty sure. But then afterwards, like we did go back to school. Everything's fine apparently, and now it's coming back again. I think in Taoyuan, a county in Taiwan, it's getting worse again, and so we might not be able to return to school next year.
Oh no. We're going to talk actually tomorrow we have some time planned to talk. We're going to talk about how COVID has impacted our schools here. So we would definitely love to hear more about that tomorrow as well cuz it's definitely it's forced us to rethink how we teach, right? And also as students how we learn. So it's been a really big impact. Most excellent. Thank you so much for sharing.
There's a video of the Taipei 101 fireworks in the chat if you want to see.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, I do. All right, most excellent. I'm going to stop my screen share and I'm going to pass it over to Dylan.
Dylan, are you with us?
Oh, he said that he was gonna go use the restroom right now.
Oh, I just got back.